Well, welcome back for another week, folks. As you can see, I'm out in the field here this morning, and last night, Sunday night, we did end up getting a little bit of rain and some snow, and it got down to -6. So it didn't end up being too much. I didn't have my gauge out, so I can't tell you exactly how many millimeters, but no doubt not very much. But still welcome nonetheless. As you can see, our soil temperature here this morning is about 0 at 2 inches depth. No doubt that's going to warm up a couple degrees during the day here. But you can also see we do have a fair bit of little kochia starting to pop up in this patch here. So once we see this kochia coming up, we know that surface soil temperature is coming up above 0 kind of on average. So we are getting close to time to seed barley and peas. So I'm going to take a look at some more fields and see what we see. Well, here's another winter wheat field, and this one was actually seeded north to south instead of east to west. Also on potato stubble, and was seeded about 2 weeks earlier, so it was able to get a little bit better establishment, as well as preventing that sifting of the ground over in the wind. Although you can still see there was a little bit of sifting going on with that sand and silt, but overall looking much better, and it's starting to grow rapidly. Overall looking pretty good. I'm out here taking a look at some canola stubble now, and I'm still not seeing any volunteer canola, which is a good indicator soil temperature is still fairly cool. But there is quite a bit of little kochias starting to pop up. So keep an eye out for these guys, even though if you're driving by, they would be invisible. You get out here and you look on foot, and they're easy enough to spot. But don't assume your field is clean until you've taken a close look. Here's some dandelions here as well. And we got some barley going in the ground today. Soil moisture is not too bad down at the 2 inches depth for barley. Soil temperature is about 3 degrees here today. So overall not the worst conditions, but maybe a hair early, but it is what it is. Well, here you can see we got quite a lot of active flicksweed. This is of course a winter annual, fall germinated, and now the soils are starting to warm up. It is really starting to get going, so make sure you're checking your fields prior to seeding. Quick glance, you might not see everything, but you get in here and you find patches of it. Down here by Colehurst now, and you can see there is some volunteer wheat coming up in this field here, and I'm not too terribly surprised. Soil temperature in this field is about 4 to 5 degrees, and you can see there is a little bit of wind erosion in here from last week, but overall not too bad. But partially because of that, there's a lot of bare ground, and that has helped the sun warm up the soil a fair bit. Well, the fall rye by Colehurst is sure coming along really well this week compared to the last time I was here, where it was just kind of breaking dormancy. We're now doing very, very well. This is a single plant, and you can see how much of this is bushed out, how many tillers there are on here now. It's going to be a little tough to even determine what is the main stem on a plant like this, but at this rate, we're going to have row cover fairly soon. And with the dry soils and colder temperatures, there's hardly even any small weeds at all. There's only just a couple kochia that have literally just germinated. So we might be able to sneak by without a herbicide in here at all. Well, I made it to first visit to one of my fields right beside Lethbridge, and as usual, the town people seem to be treating it like a garbage dump here. Last year it was piles full of butcher scraps and pig parts, and this year it looks like stuff stolen out of people's vehicles has been getting dumped here. So there's radio batteries from CP, there's a bunch of CP paperwork here, there's some Canadian Firearm Safety Course literature, a bunch of novels, a bunch of clothes. Big old mess that now will have to get cleaned up. Well, it's now Thursday and I'm by Lethbridge, and it's starting to look and feel and smell like we might get a bit of rain today, so hopefully that does happen. We certainly do need the moisture. And here by Lethbridge, I am finding some overwintered cleavers here, so these would have come up last year. There's also the usual dandelions and stinkweed and stuff that are starting to come up here as well, but still not seeing a whole lot for kochia or a lot of the spring germinated weeds yet. Soil temperature is still fairly cool. Here we're still about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius in this kind of fluffier soil here. So yeah, still a little on the cool side. Well, I'm down here by McGrath, and I found a wet spot on kind of the east exposure of a hill, and you can see we do have some canola starting to germinate here in the moisture. Haven't been seeing this in too many other places yet, because once you get around Lethbridge North, it's so dry, nothing is germinating really on the surface yet. And down here our soil temperature is right at about 2 degrees, so still fairly cold, but that moisture is making all the difference. Well, it's definitely springtime now. You can see our native prairie crocuses are up on the grazeland and looking pretty good. Well, snowstorm finally caught up with me. Good amount of pelleted snow coming down out here now. Well, it's another windy Friday in southern Alberta. The snow and the rain yesterday kind of ended up being a bit of a non-event for the most part. Some areas got a little bit of snow, others didn't. You can see out here there's a little bit of snow up in the foothills, but here by Nobleford there was not hardly a drop of rain or snow, and it is now windy as all hell again as usual. And the forecast for the coming, up till about Wednesday next week is looking a little rough. Highs of 5 degrees, lows of -5, so probably not the best seeding weather for the next week or so, but we'll see. Wednesday, Thursday next week might look a whole lot better. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.